everybody. Thanks for being here today. Is this our first meeting of February? I think it is. And we are just a handful of weeks away from our first bold. So we're going to start there talking about that. Later today, this meeting, we're going to have Scott Toombs, the bold coach, here. But here's our plug. Need to get everybody registered. Registration is open. First step to bold is right after family reunion. And off from there. It is 6 weeks straight. So really excited to get you guys there. You're going to hear more from Bernsey later on today as well about kind of what Bold can do for you and how it can really grow your business. All right. On to our belief. Okay. On to our beliefs. Not gonna pick anybody out here and get anybody to talk about any of these, but I'm gonna talk for a minute about my favorite one of these. Which, if you've been in any of these classes or any of these trainings with me before, I always talk about the same one. I always talk about communication. We are in a communication business, and the greatest thing that we can do as agents is make sure that we are not only communicating with each other, but also making sure that we truly understand what our client's saying and doing when they say and do things, because often we just run with whatever is said, and we don't really have any understanding about what they're trying to get at. And we do the same thing when the other side gives us a reaction that we don't like. Instead of seeking to understand, we just run straight into battle over it. And I see it constantly when I get people calling me either in the middle of a bad situation or as it's about to start brewing. And oftentimes people just aren't asking enough questions. So every single one of these is important to our business. In my heart is communication. You can have your own favorite for sure. And I think something that Mike said a long time ago in one of these meetings that I think rings true anywhere in our life is if you can live by these inside of your real estate business and outside of your real estate business, you will have an extremely successful business and an extremely successful life. So know these, impart these into yourself, and you will do well. All right. Upcoming training. Hit me with that first one. All right. Career night tonight. We've actually got a guest here who's going to talk about it. Kate Johnson, for many of you, first time you're seeing her, our brand new team leader on the East Side. Kate, take it away.
Hi, thanks for the intro, Andrew. Yeah, of course. So we have our career night this evening. I would highly encourage you to invite anybody that you know that might be interested in a career in real estate, maybe a co-broke that you've worked with that hasn't sold many deals, that might want to join Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. Or if you kind of want to come and just poke my brain at a couple of things, I'll be here in the office all day. So it's at 6 o'clock. If you want to come in and chat, anything, we'll be here. And then one thing I always like to talk about career nights in general is this is a really, really good opportunity. If you want to grow your downline, this is a perfect way to do it. So let me and Mike and Bernsey and Andrew take all of that work away from you and help you grow your downline. This is an awesome way to do it. Like Andrew said, this is on the East Side this week, but we'll also have some West Sides coming up as well. So thanks, Andrew.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. And I just want to reiterate what Kate just said. This is by far the easiest way to get people in front of what we are and what we do. Whether it's a friend of yours that's interested in what you do, or like Kate just said, a person that you've done business with that you think would be an awesome fit with us. This is, I would even say, Kate mentioned, newer agents. I would even say a not newer agent would be fine here as well, because it's a good way to get people in front of the best our company has to offer with telling our story and what we can do for them. So think seriously about who you can get to these. We regularly have at least a dozen people or so in the room. I think lately we've had some in the 20s even. So this is not a thing where you're going to invite somebody and they're going to be the only person in the room by any means. So bring them on in. All right. Well, and septic systems. I love this. We've got Pillar to Post coming in to do that on February 12th, which is tomorrow. It's coming right up at this point. They'll be there at noon in Pepper Pike. You do get an hour of CE for this. So take a picture of that QR code and get yourself signed up. Well and Septic seems to be such an enigma for a lot of our agents. I have conversations about Well and Septic with somebody weekly that has never sold a house with Well or Septic. There are agents in our office that do almost all that as their business, and then there are agents that do it once every 5 years. Either way, I'm sure there's going to be some good information to be had here. So get yourself signed up. All right. Fireside chat. That is 2 days from now on the 13th at 1 o'clock. Our Marion Meadow Mortgage coming at you to give you some insight on looks like DSCR loans and other investor loans. DSCR loans, it's interesting to me. There's all kinds of conversation about these things, and different lenders do different things. And I think there's a lot of noise out there that you'll hear from agents that do a lot of investor business or even just investors themselves. And it's not all accurate. I can promise you that. So do get in here if this is something you're interested in at all, because there's a lot of misinformation around these that I've experienced myself. And these are the guys that know what's out there in addition to what they have to offer. All right. Family reunion watch party. Family reunion is only a week away. It was just last night. I was sitting at dinner and Jennifer says, "Aren't you going to Vegas next week?" And I said, "Wow, that is next week." So it's coming right up. There will be some watch party events. It looks like on the 18th and the 19th that KW Cares is going to operate. And I know we've got somebody from KW Cares on here to talk about that a little bit. So jump right in. I believe it's either Allison or Alex. Maybe.
Hello, it's
All right.
Allison. Short and sweet, we're feeding you. Tuesday, the 18th, the vision speech, Gary Keller, absolutely amazing. You must be a part of it. So we will be both in Pepper Pike and Lakewood. Feed you in both locations. And I believe it starts at 11:15, so get there a little bit early, and goes probably 2:30. And then we will do it again on Wednesday when Gary takes the stage. We're big Gary fans, clearly. And his speech title this year is The 10 Bold Truths. Everybody who attends the party will have their name put in a little basket, because we like to give stuff away. And we will have one of the leadership that is actually attending Bold pick you up a t-shirt. So you'll get a Bold t-shirt so you can pretend like you flew to Las Vegas. Because what happens in Vegas, you know how that goes. That's it. That's what we got. Food and swag. Food and swag. Be there 11:15, both sides of town.
Both sides of town. That's what I was about to ask you. I thought I missed that at the beginning as to where it was going to be. So yeah. So no excuses, East Siders and West Siders. You can be there on your own side of town if you'd like. But that will be a good event. If you guys have not experienced those speeches, there's just tons of excellent information, good stuff with everything from like deep dives into stats to like just great like one sentence or two that you can hit your buyers and sellers with for the next 8 months at least, and be smarter than anybody else they've talked to. All right, on to partner updates. Who do we got first on the list? Ohio Real Title. I saw Rick driving in his car earlier. He's no longer on my screen, but do we have Rick?
I'm here.
Jennifer? Rick?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if Jennifer's here also, but I just wanted to say we'll see you in Vegas for those of you who are going. I know me and Ryan will be down there with our Columbus counterpart. Other than that, something I've been seeing a lot lately are a lot of lenders allowing I guess we'll first start with non-U.S. citizens being able to sign their loan packages now via remote online notary, something we had not seen a lot in the past. Could be a little bit complicated if we don't know about it ahead of time. So if you've got one where you know that that's going to be the situation, just let your escrow team know ahead of time so I can get involved and make sure that that goes as smoothly as possible.
Rick, does that mean even if people are out of the country that we can handle these a lot easier than we used to?
Yeah. So we just had, feels like a lot of them are being underwritten out of Canada right now, but we've done them almost any country you could think of. We do non-U.S. citizens through a Florida remote notary, and it works out great.
Awesome.
And that's
Awesome.
buyers and sellers, mostly sellers. Like I said, we've just been seeing buyers with loans lately pop up when that had not really been allowed in the past.
Cool, cool. I gotta say, the first time I ever met Rick Capretto was at a family reunion. He was just been hired. I think it was in Orlando, and I think Rick had just signed up for a job where like all he was gonna do was go to parties. And I think he thought he got the greatest job ever. I don't know if he still thinks that or not, but that was probably I don't know, geez.
It was
10
it was
years ago?
Vegas. It was Vegas. It was
It was
probably in
Vegas? Okay.
17.
I was
Yeah.
thinking it was Orlando.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, who do we got next? Renee. Is Renee on the line here? Maybe not. Okay, moving on. Cross Country Mortgage. Who do we have the pleasure of here? There's Sean. I see his beautiful face.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I just hit the face makeover button, so thank you for that. So first off, a family reunion. DJ Don Jarecki will be out hosting. Don, feel free to speak up for which day that is, but you'll get the detail from the office. But we'll be hosting a little happy hour, and surely the Ohio title people will be represented as well. So look forward to that. Just this week, the headlines, there's 2 inflation reports, and Jerome Powell's talking to Congress, but believe it or not, that's on the radar, but we're just moving past that. Touching base on the well and septic, we do escrow holdbacks for septics. You may think, yeah, you guys always have. Yes, we always have, but not all lenders do, especially out-of-town lenders. We do holdbacks for point of sale. So we're local, so just keep that in mind. We know what the deal is, so feel free to run that by us. And then just touching on some tech points. I mentioned, I think a month or so ago, but just appraisal waivers, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. When we take a conventional loan application, someone applies for a mortgage after they're under contract, after they start the mortgage with us, everything gets run through their automated system, and that system will tell us if they qualify for an appraisal waiver. That can happen with as little as 10% down now. And in addition to that, there's some other tech phases. So when we start an application, a buyer often starts the application online, or even if it's over the phone, we push them for an account verification. We call it account check or a few other names, but it allows us to pull in the data of their bank statements. And believe it or not, there's some benefit to this, like when it comes time to verify employment. Sometimes this system will say we don't need to collect W-2s or pay stubs because we see their paychecks right on their auto deposit. And while we only collect 2 months bank statements, it pulls in data for 12 months. So there's a plethora of information that kind of happens behind the scenes that we don't even get to see, that some sort of black box out of Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia or wherever, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and FHA are pulling this information will allow us to skip it. So really trying to streamline the process as much as possible. And we're always at the forefront of this. Being your partner, just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. But Chris and DJ?
Go for it, DJ.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. We've talked about it before, our CCM line of duty death benefit, which provides up to $525,000 mortgage balance cancellation should a police officer, firefighter, paramedic fall in the line of duty, or even have a heart attack, stroke, or something along those lines. CCM will pay off up to $525,000 of their mortgage. And Sean and I just this past week each placed one with I know mine was with the firefighter paramedic. Sean, I don't know if yours was the policeman, but this is a program we offer. There's no additional cost to the borrower, no change in interest rate. It's just a lifetime benefit that we give to this these first responders. So keep that in mind when you're working with fire, the federal, state, county, municipal first responders.
Yeah, piggybacking off of first responders, don't forget OFA through the state of Ohio has a HEROES program. That's for first responders as well as teachers, nurses, doctors. So there's plenty out there for those people we appreciate.
Awesome. Awesome. I got to touch back on what Sean mentioned about well and septic, because I just had the personal experience of it with on a deal that closed very beginning of the year that took about an extra 60 days to close because of just a bunch of screwing around regarding escrow for a septic replacement. That like they kept changing the rules, they kept asking for different things, and then they asked for more things and new things constantly, and it went on and on and on, and it didn't need to. So Sean's correct. There's a difference.
Hey, Sean, we hold 1.5 times the estimate, correct?
Yeah, in some cases, we'll do just 120%.
Right.
One other thing I just thought of, I had a question when you were talking about the appraisal waivers. Is that something if a person's writing an offer on a house and it's a competitive situation, can you get that into DU ahead of time?
Yeah, and we can, but it constitutes an application. So we got that awkwardness where now an application is dated before a contract. So it can happen, but it's compliance headache.
Okay. Never mind then. Never mind it.
Yeah.
I didn't say that at all. All right. All right. Thanks, fellas. Let's move on. All right. The Leverage Center. Who do we got here? Do we have you both? The pleasure of
think we're both here today.
Excellent. Take it away.
Well, good morning. I just have a short little snippet to share. I just wanted to encourage everyone who attended awards night, or even if you didn't, to go ahead and share your graphics. We also have photos from the event that came out on Facebook. Just make sure you show off your awards, and that's good content to share with your friends and family on Facebook. I'm going to put the links in the chat for the graphics and the photos. But Liz, you can take it away.
All right, thank you. So I was just looking at the numbers, and it looks like January last month, we were actually up year over year from the January before. So I know everyone's talking about how, the market's going to get bad and there's a whole bunch of agents leaving and all of that. But for those of us who are sticking around, if, there's more properties for sale with fewer agents, that's obviously more for each and every one of us. And so as you're all going out there to get all of those deals, don't let how much time you have stop you from doing as much as you can, because there's a lot of things that both Tori and I can take off of your plate. If it's something that can be done administratively, we can most likely handle it. So anything you have questions about, from marketing to transaction coordination to even the little tiny things that you're like, I don't know if someone can handle this, reach out to us, ask us about it, and we would love to set up a meeting to talk with you and help you figure out how you can best streamline your business so you can get as many of those new deals as possible.
Awesome. One thing I'll say, the Leverage Center has not figured it all out in the sense that they know everything that you guys need. So do not be afraid to approach either of them with an idea of something that you'd love to see happen from them, because it, like Liz said, it's probably something they can do and just haven't thought about the fact that it might be something that you guys would love to have and be able to take advantage of. So Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Keller Home Loans, Mr. Goldberg. Let me see you. There he is.
Good morning. Am I unmuted? Yep. All right.
All right. Good morning.
So family reunion, obviously we will be there. I personally will not this year, but please stop by our booth. We'll be also hosting a couple breakout sessions there. So, definitely come see us. If you're not going there and you're not that excited to watch Gary on the big screen, on the broadcast we're doing here, we are hosting another class at the exact same time at noon. So feel free to drop on that on Zoom. The topic for this one is how to eliminate sale contingencies for your seller. So takes a spin from the seller side of what things to ask of the lender that's for the buyer's lender before accepting that offer. So it should be good. I'll put the link here in the chat. And then one last thing, just program wise, been doing a ton of these of late. I've always been, I'm kind of a nerd at heart. I like reading tax returns and I've always worked with a lot of self-employed borrowers. So that's kind of my thing. But of late, bank statement loans, 1099 loans, alternative documentation, even no doc loans for self-employed borrowers are really taking, a big chunk of that business right now. So if you have clients that aren't showing all of their income on their taxes, as most of them don't, there are great ways to qualify and still be able to buy a house very easily without a whole lot of hassle. Very similar to, the DSCR loans on the investor side, but this can be primary residence or investment property. And they're just, a great way to say yes to someone who's been told no by other lenders that just don't quite grasp the concepts of how to use these other products. And believe it or not, there's a lot of them out there.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear that that kind of stuff is continuing to come back. Truthfully, I know that stuff gets a bad rap from the old days, but
yeah, if you
the right thing for the right person is the right answer.
that's right. I won't lie. I just got an app 2 weeks ago, bank statement loan, and the bank statements were completely forged. So there are people out there that are using those products incorrectly. But usually that stuff gets picked up pretty quick.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, David.
Yep.
All right. It is time. I hope Scott's here. I hope I didn't go too fast.
Oh, I'm here.
All right. Excellent. So you guys know, Scott Toombs a big deal. I don't think most people realize that because they just think like, here he is. He's just a guy that teaches bold. And truthfully, all the bold coaches are a big deal. If you knew anything about what it took to be a bold coach, you'd understand that. But we're not going to go through that today. But I will just tell you, like, Scott's the coach of the coaches. So we have the pleasure of having an awesome relationship with him, primarily due to Mike Rapaski, I think, and just the time that he spent with him. But we're super excited to have you later this month and into March for Bold, and excited to have you here today as well. So take it away, brother.
Well, perfect. I appreciate that. And yeah, number one, your leadership team up there, not just Michael, let's don't give him too much credit, but your entire leadership team is absolutely outstanding. It's one of the reasons why you are one of the best market centers in the country for sure. So always super grateful for those relationships. Hey, they only gave me 2 hours, so I want to make sure we get started. No, it'll be 10 minutes. I promise you. And I trust you'll get value out of this. Okay. That's the most important thing. Okay. So I need to get responses. Okay. So you don't have to come off mute if you don't want to, or if you can't, you can do your electronic hand or you can raise your hand. I can only see a few people. So, just play along with me. Tori, I can see you, unfortunately. So if you might be my person. So just, even if you don't want to participate, just do it for me so I can see. Are you good with that? Perfect. You're awesome. So let me ask you something. 2025, how many of you set a goal for 2025 in your business? Perfect. I love that. Excellent. How many of you have a goal for 2025 that is greater than your actual in 2024? Oh, I love it. Brian, look at you. Carol, thank you, using that electronic. We got our tech people jumping in. Yeah, I don't think anybody sets a goal for the next year that says, hey, I want to make less money. I want to gain weight. I want worse relationships. And I want less wealth. Right? I think every single year with an intention, we get up and say, I really want next year to be different. Now, I want to share something with you and why this is such a challenge and such an opportunity. About 8% of the U.S. population gets out of the income bracket that it's born into. Okay, I want you to hear me. 8% get out of the income bracket that they're born into. Doesn't mean they don't make more money. Okay, money has gone up, no doubt, but the bracket. And you go back and you wonder why that is. And the reality of it is we all have programming. A lot of the choices that we make every day unconsciously. I'll give you an example. Do me a favor and just raise your hand if you put deodorant on this morning. Okay, even if you didn't, Sean, now's a good time to raise your hand, okay? Yeah, there we go. Well, yeah, and the thing about that is you have to get up and contemplate it. You go, oh my God, do I really want to put deodorant on today? No, you got up and put deodorant on because you did it yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. So now you get up and it's a part of your routine. Okay, that's a habit. You don't have to choose that. And yet everything in life comes down to choices. And believe it or not, you having a 2025 that you really want to have it's not a guess, it's a choice. So I'm going to read 6 things to you real quickly about choices, and I'm going to sit on one of them for a second. And this comes directly from Bold and what Gary wrote. Gary said this about choices. Number 1, they define us. Okay? The choices that we've made has gotten us to where we are. The choices that we make moving forward will get us to where we're going. And by the way, the lack of choice is choice too. Number 2, they're a matter of responsibility. Okay, your outcome in life, like if I ask every one of you to pull your phone out, go to your bank account, you have to understand that you're 100% responsible for that number based on the choices that you've made. And what I love about that is it gives you the power to change it so that you can change that number. Could you imagine me blaming Carrie for my bank account and everything, she has to change for my account to change. That just doesn't make sense. Number 3, choices are difficult. Choices are difficult. They're sacrificing every choice. A matter of fact, as I've grown with this company, I've been an operating partner of multiple market centers for 20 years. I launched my first Keller Williams when I was 34. I know what you're saying. You're like, oh my God, you can't be more than 40. I am. I'm a little bit over that by a decade and a few years. So my point is that the power of no is greater than the yes. The more you're saying no to, I promise you, your income and life will get better. Okay. Number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they're empowering. Okay. Choices are empowering. You can choose to do something that empowers you through that. Number 5, and this is one we're going to come back to. Choices are never in a vacuum. And I'm going to hit on that in a second. And then the last one, choices are inevitable. They're inevitable. I mean, you chose the way you got to work today. You chose to be on this call or not. You're choosing to participate in this call or not. Every choice you make, you have to make choices every day. And here's what I love. Do you know that if you want a different life, all you have to do is make different choices? If you want a better life, make better choices. And if you want the best life possible, make the best choices possible. Does that make sense? Now, I'm bringing this up because I'm going to do one thing. I want to give you the power of choice. I'm going to challenge you to think bigger. I'm going to challenge you to think bigger. And then I'm going to ask you a question on an action I'd like for you to take. Are y'all good with that? Did everybody write down their goal? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Scott, I'm not going to write. Do me a favor. Just write your financial goal down. Okay. Well, for all of 2025, how much money do you want to make? Look at everything. Wherever revenue you have coming in, you have investment properties, you have other businesses, your real estate business, whatever it is, just write that number down. Now, most of us have set probably a pretty big goal. At least I trust we have, right? Like how many of us set a goal and on a scale of 1 to 10, you think you're a 10 that you're going to accomplish it? Just raise your hand. I mean, you're such a 10 that you would bet me that amount if you missed it. If you said, Scott, if I miss this financial goal, I'll figure out how to pay you that money. And most people aren't at a 10 because even though it's our minds that are thinking the goal, we still go right back to the programming choices that we've made for the past. So I'm going to share an exercise that my coach did with me about 14 years ago that changed my financial trajectory. So what do you think I'm going to ask you to do with that goal? You can put it in the chat box if you want to, or you can mime it out. What do you think I'm going to ask you to do with it? Double it. Patricia was a great guess. And no, we're not. I'm not going to ask you to double. That's what everybody does, right? Just double your goal. Now, I'm going to ask you the question my coach asked me 14 years ago, and I want you to write this question underneath that financial goal. Who do you need to become to make that amount every month? Who do you need to become to make that amount every month? Now, a lot of times when you do this, people just literally have disbelief that it's possible. And yet I can tell you, whatever number you wrote down is absolutely already being done every single month in this industry. We're not splitting the atom or going to Mars. It's being done. So the possibility's there. So how is it possible for us? Well, believe it or not, all it is different choices. So I want to go back to this last choice. I want you to think about this. Do you know the number one reason why people miss goal? And because you're not talking to me, I'm going to answer for you. No, we don't know, Scott. Tell me, what is the number one reason people miss goal? In my mind, that's what I'm hearing. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear. Well, let me share with you what it is. The number one reason that people miss their goals is they don't have a relationship with the goal. That number alone will not get you to do anything, because if it did, that means the bigger your goal was, the more likely you are to obtain it. So why not write down $1 billion a month if that was the only indicator? Yet it's not. It's what that money represents. So how many of you have somebody that loves you? Just raise your hand. And if you don't, I kind of love you. So you can raise your hand. Perfect. Look at that. Tori finally got it up there. That's awesome. Well, here's what I want you to understand. When I said I was going to come back and said choices are never in a vacuum. Choices are never in a vacuum. I want you to think about what hitting that goal would do for you, your family, your community. Ask yourself questions like this, okay? For me personally, I know my why. I know why I have a relationship with my goal. Okay, my wife started working at the age of 15. Okay, she's been a stay-at-home mom with our kids when they were, throughout their entire, my last one just went to college. One of my whys, one of my reasons, one of my relationships with that outcome is I never want to say no to her. I have 2 kids that are in college. One of the things I wanted to do, because my parents did it for me, is I don't want them to go to college. So I want to pay for their college. And I'll tell you what Linda McKissick asked me years ago. She said, Scott, your parents are aging. What do you want to provide for them? Do you want to provide the services that you can afford or the best service possible in their end years? See, until you know the relationship with that goal, I'm not sure if you're willing to do what it takes to hit it. When we say 90% of success is the way that we think, it absolutely is. But you have to understand the choices that you make impact a lot more than just you. Can I just break off of this? How many of y'all played Monopoly before? Raise your hand. The game Monopoly. Oh, I love that. Hey, Carol, I don't know if you can talk or not, and if you can't, don't worry about it. But how do y'all play Monopoly? Do you play to win? The way I win at Monopoly is I want my 2 kids in their room crying and bringing out toys to trade back in for money. I want to buy everything I land on. And yet, in some reason in life, we don't play Monopoly. We play not to lose instead of playing to win. But as soon as you know why you're doing something, the game changes. I'll give you a great example. If I were to take you out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and throw you off a boat and take off, what would you do? I can answer it for you. You would swim. Well, what if a shark came? What would you do? You would swim. What if there were jellyfish? What would you do? You would swim. What if there was a huge storm? What would you do? You'd swim. What if there was a tidal wave? What would you do? You would swim. The relationship with the outcome is very emotional when your life is at stake. And no matter what noise is going on around you, you will do the most important thing. If you were sore, if you were tired, if you were sunburned, if you were salt, if you were hungry, you'd still be swimming because you're emotionally tied to the outcome. The reason why I bring this up is 2025 does not have to be 2024. For it not to be the same, you're going to have to choose differently. 71% of real estate agents didn't have a transaction in 2024. If you don't believe that this is the greatest transfer of wealth in this industry's history, you're not getting it. The market share you take now, you'll never give up, and the market share you give away, you'll never get back. This is our moment. And the choices you make are going to impact you and the people that you love. Now, I don't want you to mistake this for sales, and I'm not weird, but this company has absolutely changed the trajectory of my family's financial future in now. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. We're about halfway sold out. We can only have 50 agents. That's it. And we're already halfway there. I want you to be one of those 25 who say yes to making a different choice for 2025. I want you to come hear what Gary wrote that he is teaching to his top 100, because this bold is like no bold you've ever taken before. Well, that's probably an overdo. We still lead generate. It's just different forms of lead generation. We have accountability. We're going to have fun, but a lot of the fluff is out, and Gary has changed the mindset game. Here's what I want you to do is I want you to bet on yourself and play to win. You know, somebody asked me, what are you willing to do to provide for your why? And my answer is very simple. Anything. I'll call anybody. I'll have the hard conversations. I will get on planes. Whatever it takes. But I want us to understand that that wasn't always how it was. It's by being in growth opportunities that you get to learn this. So to me, the choice is very simple. Are we going to choose more of the same? Or are we going to choose different? And I believe Onward BOLD is the #1 productivity and mindset coaching program in the real estate industry, written by the #1 mind in the real estate industry for the last 4 decades. Any questions, takeaways, ahas, and excuse the intensity. I'm just a little fired up and caffeined over the limit today. And you can make an aha up, by the way. I don't care if it's from a book or a movie you watched last night. Just somebody say something that you took away.
I gotta say, betting on ourselves is huge. That's something I've heard before. This isn't the first time I've ever heard that statement, but hearing it in the context of what you're talking about, Scott, I think is rings a little bit different, at least to me, and hopefully for some other people on this call, that all we have to do is bet on ourselves, and betting on ourselves just means taking the right steps to know we can win.
Yeah, I love that, Andrew, and that's the truth. Like nobody's coming for you. Like take 100% responsibility for everything in your life, and stop. I'm sorry, my intensity is very high right now. I shouldn't have conversations before I get on calls, but I can tell you though, like who else are you going to bet on? Who else are you going to invest in? Do you know that life's an inside-outside job? That everything on the outside of your world is basically what's on the inside? And until that changes, nothing out there is going to? Are you going to wait for the market to change? Are we really? I mean, do we have that kind of financial stability that we're going to wait on that? No, I don't think so. Let's go do this together. Carol, did you have your hand up to talk? And if not, it's okay. I just like the digital.
I did.
Carol, hit it.
Yeah. What I can say is about BOLD is taking it, I think this might be my maybe 5th time if I do decide to, I'm kind of teeter-tottering with it, but being in the industry and a seasoned real estate agent, for me, it's about changing your mindset and learning something different. Even though, hitting the numbers that I hit last year didn't quite make it where I wanted to be, but it was good. But for me, it's always each year to do better than I did the year before. And it's all about the mindset and changing it. And, success is 5% strategy and 95% mindset. So, looking at, hearing you saying BOLD is different, and, it's always been for me, that it's the same thing, but it's repetitiously, you change how you think, and you look, the BOLD laws, look at them, and it's truth to it. It's just doing it, so.
Well, it's like anything, you don't become a marathon runner going out and running one day.
Absolutely.
And you're absolutely right. And by the way, this isn't a rearrangement of BOLD. We have abused the word new BOLD. Okay, we change a page number and call it a new BOLD in the past. We changed 13 to 12, new BOLD. When Gary went to rewrite this, we brought in all the BOLD material since 2009, put it on the desk. He actually asked us to slide it off the desk and said, what would we write if we did not have this program? And he started from scratch. Gary is so into this, he hand drew the covers for BOLD's workbook. This is his baby. And the fact that y'all are going to be some of the first people in the country to get it this way is an exceptional opportunity. And again, we're already halfway there. What I don't want you to do is hesitate and think that you're going to come to the first step and register that day when I don't know if we're going to have it. And I still recommend, even if it's filled, come to the first step, because the average agent walks out with a lead from the first step to BOLD. That's what the average agent does. And I know none of your parents held you up when you were born and said, look at my average baby. Okay. Look at that average smile. And the other thing is we'll have fun. So that's all I have. I really do want you to make a choice for you. And people go, Scott, you really shouldn't sell. I'm a salesperson, but I can tell you right now, I'm not selling. What I'm doing is fighting for your greatness and your mind that's talking to you, that little voice in your head. All it's really doing is fighting for your comfort. It's telling you, hey, they're working to sell you something. You're going to have accountability. You're going to do things you don't want to do. And all the answers to that is yes. Okay. So come play and let's find out what's possible and play to win. I appreciate your time. Andrew, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Man, thanks for
Let's
being
get
with us.
registered, guys. Have a great one. Julia, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Scott. All right. And to finish off our meeting, we're going to spend some time with Bernsey, our brand new team leader on the west side. Show yourself, Bernsey.
Here I am.
There he
See
is.
me? Hey.
We got to spotlight you. Hold on.
You got to make noise in order to pop up on the screen here. We got so many people on. Well, thanks for the opportunity to chat a little bit this morning. I'm super pumped about Bold. I was excited when I learned that Bold was coming to Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. I was even more excited when I found out that Scott Toombs was going to be doing it. I was in, and some of you probably were too, in the business planning clinic last October with Scott. And I don't know if it's the Southern draw. I don't know if it's like the intentionality of his voice, but like, I don't know, Scott could he could tell me bedtime stories. I could just listen to his voice forever. So super excited for someone like Scott is bringing his passion to Bold. So I'm going to ask Patrice Reynolds to hop off of mute as well and just have a real quick conversation because of course the person who is teaching Bold is going to be pitching Bold to us, right? But like, why not talk to someone who experienced Bold last year and was the first person to register this year. So thanks for joining me today, Patrice. I appreciate you being willing to do this.
You're welcome. No problem. So this is going to actually be my third time taking Bold.
Nice. Cool.
And the reason why I decided to last year, it was kind of a game changer for me because it helped me with my decision to become a full-time agent. Just with the mindset shift and with Bold, like really focusing in and dialing in on my business, I was able to increase production substantially from the previous year. And then even leading into this year, I'm on track to hit half of my goal by June. So just the decision for me, I mean, it was no question that, I wanted to get a head start. I wanted to make sure that I was in the mindset starting this year out. It was just great. And then just to mimic what you said with Scott Toombs being at the head, I'm extremely excited to take it again.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. What do you think was your, like, if you had one specific aha, a major one coming out of Bold last year, other than the decision to become a full-time agent, because congratulations to you, that's awesome. Like, what do you think your biggest, most prominent takeaway from last year's Bold was?
To be honest, it was my favorite Bold law. What you focus on expands. At the time, I was kind of toggling between two different areas of my life. And I think when I really decided to focus the majority of my attention on my real estate business, I was really able to build more relationships. Through those relationships, it got me even more relationships. So, it's a relationship-based business. And so if you don't have them, you really can't progress. So for me, it was really just a relationship piece and really focusing in on doing the work, not focusing on the outcome, but just diving in, doing all the work that was necessary for me to get to the goal that I wanted to get to. And I got the outcome I wanted.
I love that. And you led me right where I was wanting to go, because my next question was, what's your favorite Bold law and why? So what you focus on expands. So thanks for that. Yeah. So my next question is, what are you most looking forward to, come February 26th? We're at our first, the first session of the new Bold? Like, what are you most looking forward to? Is it the people? Is it revisiting the Bold laws? Is it the accountability you're going to get? What are you most looking forward to?
For me, Bold really ignites my mindset as it pertains to this business. And I am so looking forward to that. I think every time I've taken it, I've gotten something different. I've had different takeaways. And I think this year my goal is much bigger than it was the previous year. So I'm looking forward to identifying what's new with this particular Bold. I'm looking forward to hearing those things from Scott Toombs. And I'm also looking forward to the relationships that we get out of taking Bold, the people that are involved in Bold as well. They kind of help you with your mindset and they help keep you fired up. So I'm extremely excited for that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I love that. Good stuff, Patrice. Thank you. Yeah, I'm my team rock solid, table rock solid. I'm sure there's some of us in the house here. So the relationships that we form at those tables, I know that I'm going to be friends with those people for the rest of my career here. I'm literally picturing Team Rock Solid like in my head right now. You know who you are. So thank you for that.
Another thing too, Bernsey, is the accountability factor, right? I think we know what to do, right? Lead gen is kind of by far the biggest asset to our business. And I think that accountability factor when you're taking Bold, it really puts it in front of you. And it's kind of like one of those things in this class, I know I can't get out of it. I'm probably going to do it times 10 just because I'm taking Bold. And I'm going to get leads that I probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So.
Yeah, I love that. I don't want to steal Scott Toombs' thunder, but one of my takeaways from Bold last year was I think it was the first day when we learned, you're like 40-something% more likely to accomplish a goal when you write it down and tell someone, and then you're like 87% more likely to accomplish a goal when you have someone holding you accountable to that goal. So it is all about the accountability. If nothing else, that's what Bold's about. My last question, Patrice, is, if for someone out there who's listening in on the call and they're on the fence, they're telling themselves, it's too much of a time commitment, it's too much money, like it's too uncomfortable for me. What would you say to them in a sentence or two to maybe push them over the edge and encourage them to take that step today after we get off the call?
Honestly, if you are serious about your business, if you are serious about personal growth, if you're serious about a mindset shift for success, Bold is definitely the place to do it, especially in this business and the people that you are going to be taking this class with. There's a relationship piece, there's accountability piece, and there's also a mindset growth piece. And I think all of those things combined is going to help with your success in 2025. And if you're looking to either achieve your goal or overachieve the goal you have, my suggestion, sign up ASAP now. It is definitely, like I said, it was a game changer for my business last year and the decisions that I made. And I learned a lot, and I learned something different every time. So take it.
Nice. I love that, Patrice. I could not have said it better myself. So, all right, I'm done grilling Patrice, but I did want to allow anybody else to hop off of mute. If you had a great experience at Bold and you're looking forward to taking it again, or maybe, one reason you're looking forward to it, or maybe, an aha that you had coming out of Bold, I would invite you to just come off of mute real quick and share like a one-liner or a two-liner about, what your experience was and what you gained from your experience at Bold in the past.
Bernsey, I'll jump in. So
yeah, go for it, Kate.
What is super special about Bold is I actually met a lot of KWGM agents at my very first Bold about 8 years ago. And when I announced I was a team leader here, I had people from my Bold table reach out to me and say, I remember you standing up at Bold and saying you were going to be a KW team leader. And it's really, really powerful because we do speak our goals and our future into existence. I'm not sure if they still make you write a letter to yourself at Bold. Do they still do that? That they send you a year later?
Well, when I did it last year, we did do that, but it's
Back
a
in,
new
yeah,
Bold.
back in the
So
good
I
old
hope
days.
I hope we do. I hope we do. Yeah.
What is super funny about it is I have my first one framed. The first Bold I ever took, I wrote a letter to myself. I was 20 years old, and I said by the time I was 30, I was going to have a specific income goal, and I have it. I said I was going to be a Keller Williams team leader, and I have it. I said I was going to build a KW community, and I did it. And what is so cool about that is I would have never known what I wanted or the opportunities until I was sitting in a room with people who pushed me to think bigger about an opportunity. So that's what I love about Bold. It's not just sales driven. You really kind of get the opportunity to think about who you want to be. And sometimes it's not only about sales. Sometimes it's bigger opportunities within Keller Williams. Sometimes it's growing a team. Sometimes it's more than just selling houses. And I think that for me is a testament enough to get in the room, because if you're not super passionate about where your business is right now, it will help lead you to where you want to go.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kate, for popping off mute and sharing that. Could not have said it better myself. Ditto to all of that. Anybody else want to come off mute and share, an aha, a story from Bold, something you're looking forward to? Love to hear from anybody else with our last couple minutes here.
I can pop in. So can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, thanks, Brooke.
Okay. Yeah. So this will be my 4th year taking Bold, and my first year was in 21. And I think I was just licensed. And at that point I was a TC still, so I wasn't really practicing or selling anything. And I had a goal for myself, kind of like you, Kate, of this is where I want to be. They had us write a letter. And I said I wanted to run a team within Keller Williams. And here I am 4 years later, or whatever it is. And I am running the Emmerman team. And then I'm also doing the volume of sales that I wanted to do as well, my own. And then specifically last year, I had this goal personally to buy a house, my own house, my first house. And I was like, oh, it'll happen some point during this year, whenever that works out. And Bold kind of had me think bigger and really zone in on what I wanted. And I ended up buying a house during Bold. So that was a really amazing, I guess, accomplishment that I didn't even know was possible at that time, but it made me think bigger. And then, yeah, I ended up being able to buy my first house during Bold.
I love it. Thank you, Brooke. And you're just crushing it in life and in business right now. I want to be like you when I grow up. So thank you for coming off mute. Maybe let's have one more. We just got like 4 minutes left on today's sales meeting. So can I get one more person to come off mute and share a testimonial or an aha about Bold, and then we'll close it out. You've heard enough from me. Don't make me give you my testimonial, because it'll mean more coming from somebody else. That's okay. I wouldn't want to follow Kate or Brooke either. Those were two great messages that we just heard from some amazing women in this business. So I will say this: if you are a producing agent, meaning you're doing several deals a year, and if money's the issue and money's tight, please don't let that be your barrier to attending Bold. Please get with me after the call. I'd love an opportunity to chat with you and see if we can put our heads together and figure out a way to get you there, whether it's through a scholarship, a loan, or any other means. We can try to help you and get you there. It means more to us that you're there than anything else. So, Andrew, do you want me to pass it back to you, or you want me to just close us out today?
You're all good.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We greatly appreciate you hopping on the call. I'm going to be available for about 45 minutes after the call today if anybody wants to reach out and dig deeper, explore Bold further, or if you have any other questions. And let's get out there and have a great day. Thanks so much, guys.